Oh, energy. Yeah, what sort of energy then?
I
think it is a spiritual kind of
It's very
energy that
reflective.
you talk
Well, I'd say it's
Emotional.
Yeah.
Emotional.
I thought it was
Yeah.
hormones, but I'm sure.
And has anybody else experienced that? Talking about these things that are so close to the heart, so close to what we value. It brings the emotion up, sort of up here. So, how did you feel about hearing other people's values and how they enact them in their lives?
I think it's really interesting. It just really reinforces diversity in the room.
Did you notice there any similarities there? Was there a common thread? It may not be different, same words, but there was a common thread.
I think so. I think that there was more commonality than there were differences, really. I mean, you, on any given day, as we were saying, some of those values you flip them round. And it's what your state of mind is at the time. So this top 10 would maybe the same next week. I guess it wouldn't be. It would flip round. So there's more in common, and the reasons and the justification a bit behind it. Sort of, I feel a great deal of empathy with them. I mean, she's a hard cow, there's no doubt. You really want to let her under any... No.
Charming ways.
We expressed the same thing, but we used two different words.
Yes.
But when we arrived at the explanation, it was like, yeah, that's what we explained before, but for me, it's not the same word. Your word is interesting, but when you explain it, it's like I relate to another word in my map of the word. But it's the same feeling, the same behaviors, the same values behind it.
So underneath, the same emotions were underneath it, something you deeply cared about. So was there a common bond with that, the fact that you deeply cared about something? And it usually involved people around you.
And deeper than two-person shoes.
Yeah, definitely. So we sort of progressed through the day. But if we'd started here, would we have got very far? Not with most groups. Maybe with you we would have, but with most groups you wouldn't. So we sort of build up to this point during the day. Has a trust meter moved forward at all with these people you were sharing these things with?
Absolutely.
And notice how, oh yeah, it's like, so I wonder if then if I built stronger relationships with people in my organisation or in my companies I work in, then I would get more work from that. You know, not that I build the relationships to get the work, but I would feel closer to them, they would trust me more, I would trust them more, and would I enjoy it more? So would I get more done, and would I have a good time? Which is where we started this morning. Yeah. Interesting. So there's this thing I read, just about to go. I used to read it this time, and it's from Bill Bryson, Short History of Nearly Everything.
Yeah.
It's a great book. It's a great for trainers, a great resource book for explaining things about the length of time man's been on the planet. If we put our arms up like this is the 4.5 billion years, and if we take one swipe with a nail file, we've knocked off humanity, the whole of our human existence. So we think we're so important. We're not. This is something I got. It's quite late in the book, really. It's called The Stuff of Life. I won't take comments, it's not the whole thing. But you may relate to this. And the reason of why we feel close to these people. If your two parents hadn't bonded just when they did, possibly to the second, possibly to the nanosecond, you wouldn't be here. And if their parents hadn't bonded in a precisely timely manner, you wouldn't be here either. And if their parents had done likewise, and their parents before them, and so on, obviously and indefinitely, you wouldn't be here. Push backwards through time, and these ancestral debts begin to add up. Go back just 8 generations to about the time that Charles Darwin and Abraham Lincoln were born, and already there are over 250 people on whose timely couplings your existence depends. Continue further to the time of Shakespeare and the Mayflower Pilgrims, and you have no fewer than 16,384 ancestors earnestly exchanging genetic material, imagine out there in the bush, in a way that would eventually and miraculously result in you. At 20 generations ago, and of course generation, I'd say about 20, 22 years and all that, is that the average? The number of people procreating on your behalf has risen to 1,048,576. We think about our grandparents. maybe our grandparents, great-grandparents, but before that, sort of a bit hazy. But there are thousands of people back there, for you and for me. 5 generations before that, and there are no fewer than 33,554,432 men and women on whose devoted couplings your existence depends. By 30 generations ago, your total number of forebears, remember these aren't cousins and aunts and other incidental relatives, but only parents and parents of parents, in a line leading ineluctably to you. The number is over 1 billion. 1,073,741,824 to be precise. If you go back 64 generations, and you do, all of us do, to the time of the Romans, the number of people on whose cooperative efforts your eventual existence depends has risen to approximately 1 million trillion, which is several thousand times the total number of people who've ever lived. Clearly something has gone wrong with our maths here. The answer it may interest you to learn is that your line is not pure. You couldn't be here without a little incest. Actually, quite a lot of incest, albeit at a genetically discrete remove. With so many millions of ancestors in your background, there will have been many occasions when a relative from your mother's side of the family procreated with some distant cousin from your father's side of the ledger. In fact, and here's the rub, if you are in a partnership now with someone from your own race and country, the chances are excellent that you are at some level related. Indeed, if you look around you on a bus, or in a park, cafe, or room full of people, look around at these people, small group as it may be.
That's where you've seen my face before.
When someone boasts to you that he's descended from Shakespeare or William the Conqueror, you should answer at once, "Me too!" In the most literal and fundamental sense, we are all family. We are also uncannily alike. So, there's another part of the book that goes back and explains, who has read it? Yeah. It goes back to explain that we all, everybody, the whole world's population, came out of a pool of 1,100 individuals in Africa several million years ago. And we head north, and then that's just Siberia across the land bridge, down through Indonesia and Australia. So we're all once black. We were all once hairy. We came out of this pool of people. So we chase, they can now map the human genome, and then they can unmap it back, full of 1,100 people. So it's no coincidence that we sit around a bunch of people on a Tuesday afternoon and discover how alike we are, because we want the same thing.
I've read some that would suggest it's even closer than that. I thought they could, again, I'm going off something I've read, so
And
it
it is
is a genetic scientist.
Yeah.
Is that the female gene can be, we can all be traced back to a common female ancestor.
Yeah, yeah. And again, a lot of it is theory, but now it's becoming more scientifically proven. Day by day, they're getting it back further and further. And also now that we also related to Neanderthals, because Neanderthals were, they thought was a race that died out. There's people, especially in Europe, who have a special lump in the back of their head. And we were checking this tonight. You come out, you have a lump. And a mate of mine come from New Zealand. Was telling me about it. So, yeah. So, we are all very similar.
One put in.
So, that's where we leave the day.
It's gone, yeah.
That's where we leave the day. To think about things, a reflective mood. To go away and think about the things we've done today. I'd like you to please, if chance, please read through the book. Just glance through it. If you just want to read it all, great. If not, just skim through it and see what we've covered today. Everything's in there. One thing I would like you to do is to look at the section where I've asked you to look at different behavioural blends. And there's a quiz in there.
Or is it the same people?
Yeah. And on page 23, these are just questions. You don't have to tick the boxes. Just imagine ticking the boxes, because you can use this again and again. It's about you. And if you read this up on the behavioural blender, up to about page 27, and then right at the back of the book,